Hi, my name is Mike Montgomery, and today I'm going to be showing you how I built this awesome foldable clothes drying rack on Modern Builds. So if you're someone that's wondering why in the world did I build this, it's simply because when you run a shirt through a hot dryer, it shrinks it and ruins the fit, so this is my fix. Let's get started. So I started by just measuring and cutting one 8-foot 1x4 in half and then cutting it on the table saw into 1.5-inch strips. Then out of those 4 boards, I clamped 2 of them together and drilled 4 holes through both of them. These are what's going to hold the dowels. Drilling both the holes at the same time made sure I had 2 symmetrical pieces. Next, I glued up one of the boards with holes in it with a board that didn't have any holes in it, and these are going to make the legs. The inside board is going to give the hole for the dowel, but the outside board is going to make sure it can't go all the way through. Next, I marked a radius on the bottom of each leg and sanded it down on the disc sander. If you don't have one, don't worry, you can always use a handsaw and then smooth it out with a palm sander. Now before I glued the dowels in, I wanted to go ahead and sand everything while I still had access to every face, so I sanded everything to 220 grit. Then I was able to cut my dowels to length, and don't worry, all my dimensions will be in my written article, link is in the description. The dowels were already pretty smooth, so I just did a quick hand sand with 220 grit. And now that I had everything sanded, I could go ahead and glue it up. And before I tightened down my clamps, I went ahead and made sure everything was square. Next, I needed to make my cross brace for the top, so I cut another 1x4 to 1.5 inches and then cut it oversized to length. Then I glued 2 of those pieces together, the same as I did the legs, except no holes this time. Once the glue had dried, I was able to sand it down and clean it up. I also cut it to its final length. I waited to cut it to its final length until I took the main piece out of the clamp so I could cut it to fit, and I just glued it in. And finally, I went ahead and sanded the whole thing down. Now, in case you already didn't figure this out, you don't need just one, you need 2 identical pieces. So I just took my 2 pieces outside and sprayed them down with a Rust-Oleum clear gloss finish. All the products will be in the written article as well. Now to put the hinges on, I went ahead and clamped the 2 pieces together where they're going to be. Then I marked 3 inches from the edge, lined up my hinge, and marked and drilled my first pilot hole. Now a trick that I do when I put in hinges, if possible, is I put 1 screw in, then I line it all up and then put in the rest. That way I make sure everything's straight and easy. Next, I found the length that I needed to cut my 2 leather stops. I'm just using an old belt that the buckle had broken on and then cutting it in half so that I had 2 symmetrical pieces. But you could use any type of cloth. Then I just simply drilled some pilot holes and used some brass screws so that it matched the hardware on the top. Then whenever I open it up, it can only open up so far. And it's surprisingly sturdy. So that's really all there is to it. I think it came out really good, and it's the perfect size to hold towels and t-shirts and pants, which is exactly what I need it for. And one of my favorite things about it is once you take the clothes off, you can just fold up the rack and tuck it out of the way. And you know what would look great on that drying rack? Your very own Modern Builds t-shirt. That's right, I'm gonna be getting my first Modern Builds t-shirts printed. Now I talked about this in my last Q&A video, but I'm gonna be printing up a limited number of t-shirts. In all honesty, I don't know how many to print, so I'm gonna be doing pre-orders. They're gonna be printed on black and gray pocket tees. I'm gonna be selling pre-orders for $15, but once I get them printed, they're gonna be $20. So if you wanna save some money as well as support the show, make sure and click this link right here and it'll take you to my store where you can check them out. And I would highly recommend pre-ordering if you are a 2X or above, because I'm going to be getting a limited number of those printed. Plus, because of the extra cost of the shirts, they're going to be about $21 or $22 once I get them printed. But right now I'm doing all pre-orders for $15. So make sure and check those out, and I want to say thanks in advance for the support. Now this is a really cool project because it can be scaled to fit whatever your needs are. I do relatively small loads of laundry, so this is the perfect size for me to fit the number of shirts that I usually dry. Now of course you can go bigger, you can go smaller, it's all about what you want. Now if you're planning on building this, don't forget to check out the written article. It's going to give you a little extra bit of plans as well as a list of material and supplies. If this is your first time on my channel, I want to say welcome, as well as please subscribe, because I put out a new project video every week. You'll definitely want to stick around and check those out. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, as well as follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up with me throughout the week. Thanks a lot everybody, and we'll see you next time on Modern Builds.